March 13th to be exact, we took Alaina to a pediatrician in Jamestown. Within an hour, we probably received the most devastating news we'd ever received in our lives. And that was that our baby had cancer, neuroblastoma cancer. She had a tumor in her abdomen that was the size of a lemon, and it had metastasized through her entire body. Never, ever in a million years did my husband and I think we would ever have a child facing cancer. It's like being kicked in the stomach. You have no energy. It drains everything from your body. And I don't know if it really hit me until our little 4-year-old boy, he said, "Mommy, what's wrong with you?" And I explained to him that Alaina had cancer. And he said, "Mommy, is she going to die?" And I think at that point, I lost it. I just couldn't hold it together. I cried and I cried and I cried. The pediatrician sent us to Sanford Children's in Fargo with high recommendations. She said they had the greatest team of pediatric oncologists. She was given such a bad prognosis at first because the neuroblastoma tumor itself was the size of a lemon. Her cancer had spread everywhere in her body. The first bone marrow biopsy that we had showed that the neuroblastoma had saturated 60% of her bone marrow.
I want to give her the world. I want to hold her hand. I want to be her mom for as long as I can. And I want to live every moment until that day comes. I want to show her what it means to be loved.
It is horrible to see your child go through something like that. And probably the worst moment for me is when they started the first bag of chemotherapy. You protect your children, and then to know that they are putting essentially chemicals into your child to kill the cancer, it's like watching poison being dripped into your child. About the 6th day into our first stay, I was sitting in the recliner there in the room, rocking Alaina, and I had dozed off, and she was sleeping on my chest. And just like that, it felt like someone grabbed me around the waist and gave me the biggest hug. And it woke me up, and no one was in the room. And I will forever think there was someone in the room, a guardian angel or the healing hands of God, that wrapped his arms around me that afternoon and said, everything is going to be okay. Because from that point on, I knew this was bigger than any chemotherapy treatment. It was going to be the healing hands of God that was going to get our baby through this.
I want to give her the world. I want to hold her hand. I want to be her mom for as long as I can. And I want to live every moment until that day comes. I want to show her what it means to be loved.
She immediately earned the nickname of Happy Face. The nurses would always come in and see Alaina in her room and say, "There's our happy baby today." Nothing seemed to slow her down. She gives us so much hope. The doctors had initially told us that we were going to have 8 cycles of chemotherapy, surgery to remove the lemon-sized tumor, radiation possibly because it had metastasized through her body. So after the 6th cycle of chemotherapy, the doctors wanted to redo all the scans. Dr. Kabrinsky walked in the door that day with this humongous grin on his face. He said, "Everything looks great." And I said, "Everything?" And he said, "Everything. What about the lemon-sized tumor in her abdomen that was intertwined through most of her organs?" And he said, "What tumor?" He said, "We cannot find one bit of evidence that the tumor is in her body. She can go home. We are finished with chemotherapy treatment." And we all did a happy dance.
I want to give her the world. I want to be her dad. I want to hold her close for as long as I can. And I want to live every moment until that day comes. I want to show her what it means to be loved.
It was like 6 months of the living hell. And then that day comes when they say you can go home and you don't need any more treatments. Overjoy, happiness, elation, tears of joy. We were just so happy that she had conquered the disease. She's a miracle baby. We feel that they were so key in keeping our child so healthy even though she was going through a horrific battle. They not only are there for the children, they are so much there for the parents. They were there giving us that you can make it through today. You can do this. We have so much confidence in your little girl. You never know when you might be a parent of a child with cancer. You're 1 second away from a life-changing experience. And if it were to happen, there's no better place to give than to Sanford Children's.
We're gonna show her what it means to be loved.
Alaina will be seen by Sanford Children's the rest of her life. She will continue to have monthly visits for the first year, and then hopefully if everything stays the way it is, which we are praying to God that it does, she will continue to be seen every 6 months for 2 more years, and then after that annually. She'll be seen the rest of her life. She's our number one when we walk into that clinic in the hospital. She's our happy face. Yeah, she's our happy face.